Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. So I have filmed a fox eye glam makeup look today. So I have been obsessing recently over these looks that Patrick Tar created on Gigi Hadid. So I'm going to put these all around me now so you can see. I absolutely love the goldy yellow colour in the middle of the eye. I was honestly just obsessed with it. So I've tried my best to find an eyeshadow that was like it. I couldn't actually find the exact one he used. He didn't really put it anywhere. If you do know, let me know. But I did get this insane eyeshadow palette from Pat McGrath and it's unreal. Like, it's probably the most amazing eyeshadow palette I've ever bought. So I have used that in today's tutorial to create this eyeshadow look. I honestly am obsessed with this fox eye trend. I didn't actually realise that it was kind of how I did my makeup anyway, but just a little bit of a tweak in the inner corner. I just love the way it sort of like lifts your eyes. It was a really fun glam look to do. So if you want to see how I created this makeup look, then please keep watching. So I've just started off by putting concealer all over my lid. The one that I have used is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this one is in Custard. But because I really want to lift my eyes today, I'm going to add a little bit of concealer to my brow bone. This is a little bit lighter. So this is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and this one is in Vanilla. So just using a concealer brush. The brush that I'm using to buff this out is the Full Coverage Touch Up brush by Bobbi Brown. This is one of my favorites actually for buffing out concealer. It's so good. So I'm using two palettes in today's tutorial. So the first one is this Too Faced Born This Way Natural Nudes palette. This one I love, I use it actually quite a lot. It's great for every day because it's got some really good brown shades in it, but I also love it for other looks as well. So in this, I'm gonna use the color Maple, which is this one here, and then I'm gonna use the white shade as well at the end. So I'm gonna start off with the white shade. I'm just using a flat, fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna apply that white shade all over my lid. And I'm just taking it all the way up to my brow bone. Once you set your whole lid with that white colour, I'm going to go in with that maple colour next. This is a really lovely sort of like orange brown, and I'm using again another sort of flat fluffy blending brush. This is a Spectrum A06, and I'm going to create a sort of V shape at the corner of my eye. So you're kind of looking for something a little bit like that. So with the fox eye, the most important thing is that basically everything sort of heads up from the edge of your nose all the way up to your brow bone. So you want everything to follow that sort of line. This is so that you can really lift your eye up and get that sort of eye lift look. So when I am sort of blending, I kind of do just make sure that it is always in line with that. So it's kind of like all going up in that direction. So now I've got that shape, I'm gonna go in with a little fluffy blending brush. This one is a blank canvas E41, an E40 brush, it's double-sided, but I'm gonna use the E41. And I'm just gonna start to blend that out. And I'm gonna take it out into a wing as I blend it. So I'm blending sort of upwards. I'm sort of making the blend start from my lower lash line. So I'm kind of starting there and then bringing it up to the tail end of my eyebrow. This is so that I've got that sort of like lifted look like that. So I'm now gonna move on to this Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. It's pretty heavy duty, this one. So these are the colors that are in this palette. They are so amazing, but we're gonna be using these two on the end and also this white shade on this end. And that's actually what I'm gonna go in with now. So before we move on to glitter, I'm just gonna apply that slightly lighter shade into the corner of my eye. So now the lighter shade is on, I'm gonna move on to a liner, but before I do this, I feel like this really helps. I'm just gonna use a little bit more of that NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this little flat brush, this comes in handy during this tutorial. And I'm just gonna neaten along the edge of my eyeshadow. You can obviously do this step after the eyes are done, but I just feel like this actually helps me a lot when it comes to putting the liner on. It's very useful to kind of have as a guide. And again, I'm just keep checking with my nose and the brush just to make sure it's all still going in the right direction. So for this look, we'll just kind of do a little bit of a half liner on this side. The liner I'm using for this is the Dior Show Colour and Contour. This has actually got an eyeshadow colour on one end, but I'm obsessed with the liner brown colour on this side. It's super soft, so it's really easy to work with, and it's just a really nice soft brown colour. So once you've got your liner where you want it, I'm gonna use this tiny little, so this is a detailed tip brush from Sigma. It's so good for this sort of like smoking out of a wing. And I'm just gonna go over the liner and just kind of, especially at the tip, I'm just gonna drag it up slightly. So that is my very simple sort of soft smoked wing. I don't want anything too heavy, but I've just done this to sort of accentuate the eye lift, to give it a bit more of that foxy eye. So the inner corner liner, which I think is the main reason why this is sort of a fox eye look, I'm actually gonna go back into this Too Faced Nudes palette, and I'm gonna use this dark brown shade at the end here. And I'm using for this is also another very good brush to have. So this is a blank canvas L29 brush, and it's really pointed at the tip and it's quite small. So I'm just gonna spray that with a little bit of Fix Plus so it's a bit wet. And I'm gonna go into that dark brown shade, and then it basically allows it to become a little bit like a liner brush. And then for this, I'm literally just gonna line down to sort of that inner corner of my eye. And then I'm just gonna get that little flat brush that had the concealer on and just neaten it up. So that is the liner part done. It's really subtle. I think that's why I love this kind of fox eye look. It's not too harsh, but it just kind of really like makes your eye look just a really nice shape. I love it. I honestly am absolutely obsessed with it. So the next step is the fun part. So this is the glitter. And again, I'm using that Pat McGrath eyeshadow for this. So I will put the exact names below for each of these eyeshadows, but I'm gonna use this one first, and then I'm gonna add some of this one on top. And I'm taking the glitter pretty much halfway on my lid, I would say. So I'm now just going in with that whiter glitter. And for this, I focus majority of this in the corner of my eye, but I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go above that little inner corner liner, just to create a really nice inner corner highlight. So I'm sort of going right up to the edge of it. So now the eyeshadow is all done, I'm gonna go ahead and add lashes. The lashes I'm using for today's look are the Lily Lashes one in Paris. I absolutely love these lashes. I feel like they're really fluffy, but they're quite subtle, and they work just so well with this look because they've got a really nice little wing on them. So the next important step when it comes to this makeup look is eyebrows. You want the brow basically to, I mean, most of us have brows that do tilt down slightly. Ideally, the brows will be going up that way. I'm not about to shave off the end of my eyebrows for this tutorial, so I'm gonna try and just fake it as best I can. So I'm just gonna brush the eyebrows up, and then I'm just gonna set them in place with the 24-hour brow setter. If you saw my last video, you might have seen that I have become obsessed with setting my brows before I put the product on them. So that is exactly what I'm gonna do now. So after I brush them up, I'm just gonna go in with this Benefit Cosmetics 24-hour brow setter. And when I get to the end, I really wanna try and push those brow hairs as up as they possibly can be. And then when I go back in with the eyebrow pencil, we're gonna kind of fake that slightly lifted brow. So once my brows are set and dry, I'm gonna move on to face. I'm gonna start off with my fave. So this is the Dr. Jart Color Correcting Treatment, and we use this as my primer. I feel like this never gets boring to look at. Every time you use it and you can see your skin like literally color correcting for your eyes, it excites me. For foundation today, I'm going to use the Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation. So I really like using this foundation when I'm doing a bit more of a full glam because the coverage is amazing. It's a real full coverage foundation. The color that I'm using is 3.65. I'm gonna start off just by using a foundation brush, and then afterwards I'm gonna go in and blend all over with my beauty blender. So I like starting off with a foundation sort of like buffer brush, but I like going back in with a beauty blender. Number one, because it just helps get that really flawless foundation, but it's also amazing at getting sort of really close in, you know, like under your eye. There is nothing worse when you have your hair up like this and you go out, or like someone takes a picture of you and there's like this sort of paler patch like just here. And like, I don't know, I've seen it in too many pictures where I've forgotten to take my foundation sort of like up into my hairline behind my ear. and it just kind of, I don't know, those photos haunt me, I swear to God. So to contour today, I'm going to use the Nude Sticks Nudie Matte All Over Face Bronze Colour. I wanted to go for a slightly less strong contour, just because when I was looking at those pictures of that Gigi Hadid makeup, she's got this beautiful sort of like bronze glow, but it's not too much of a strong contour. This product's actually quite new to my makeup bag, but it's amazing, I really like it. It's a very creamy product, this as well, so I quite like the way it blends into my skin. It's also double-sided, so you've got a little blending brush on the other side, which is really handy. And I'm just gonna go over with my beauty blender. So I'm also going to use this product just to contour my nose. I'm using this little fan brush here. I'm just going to put a little bit on the brush. So I'll blend the rest of my nose in fully once I've gone on with concealer. So for concealer, I'm going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Custard. Okay, so once I have my concealer on, I'm going to use a mini beauty blender, and I'm just going to blend that all in. So I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Powder in Cupcake for under my eyes. This is my favourite for setting under eyes, it's so good. And then I'm also just going to use a little bit of it to set my T-zone. So next up, I'm going to set my face with the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I'm just going to put this sort of everywhere else. So now we're looking matte AF, my fave. I am going to go in and bake. So I'm using that same Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. I'm just going to leave some underneath my eyes. I'm gonna move on to bronzer. I'm actually so excited about this bronzer. So this is new, I got this the other day. So this is the Dior Mineral Nude Bronze Color Games. Oh my God, it's amazing. So this is number 2. I feel like the reason I'm obsessed with this bronzer, so it's kind of got 2 tones in it, is it's the perfect mix between MAC Give Me Sun and MAC Dark, the bronzers. It's just such a good bronze color. It also smells amazing. I'm a bit of a sucker for makeup that smells nice as well while you're using it. I think that's why I love that Huda Cupcake powder, because it smells so nice. So I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush here because I want to get that sort of Hadid cheekbone going on here. I'm going to focus the contour just a little bit further down. I'm going to start with the contour sort of like here, because I want, you know how they have that sort of like, I feel like they get that sort of dip in the bottom of their cheek, and so I feel like if you focus more of the bronze product kind of there, you can kind of create that sort of like indented cheekbone. And then I'm bringing the product up as I go, sort of so I can kind of bronze my cheek area. You can see like the difference between the 2 sides, how this side just looks like it's a lot more sunken here. So I'm just bronzing up my forehead and I'm putting it basically where I put that cream contour. And then I'm also going to bring the bronzer just a little bit further up my cheek, kind of to use it a little bit as blush, because I'm not actually going to use any blusher in this makeup tutorial. So I'm going to just warm my cheeks up by using that bronzer, but just lifting it up a little bit higher, so it's like heading more towards sort of my eye area. The brush I'm using for this, by the way, is a Spectrum A04 brush. So before I get rid of the powder that's baking, I'm just gonna go back in and fill my eyebrows in. So as I said, this is the only other thing when you're doing a fox eye that you kind of might need to change slightly. So with the tail end, I'm kind of gonna bring it out a little bit more. You kind of want to create almost a bit more of like a straighter brow. So you sort of want to lose the arch that's in your brow. So I'm kind of going to fake the end of it and bring it just sort of out straight a little bit more. I feel like I always really envy people with straight brows. I would love it if my brows just sort of sat like up there. Dream, absolute dream. Also for this, I'm using the Precisely My Brow Pencil. This is in shade 3.5. And like I said in my other tutorial when I was talking about setting your brows first, I don't know why, but I just feel like the product goes on so nicely when you put it over the top of the brow setter. I think that is about as fake straight as I'm gonna be able to get the brow, because I do have a slight tilt down as most of us do, but that's fine, that's good enough. So I'm just gonna do the other one. For my lower lashes, I'm gonna go back in with this maple color, which is the same color that I used on my lid, and I'm just going to line slightly. So that is the majority of my makeup done. So as always, I'm gonna set my face first before I do my mascara using the MAC Fix Plus. So my lip combo today is going to be the Morphe Sweet Tea Liner, and then I'm going to use the Kat Von D. These are the vinyl lip creams, and this one is in the shade Blossom. It's so nice, it's such a good nude, this. I honestly feel like there is nothing this Morphe Sweet Tea Liner doesn't go with. It is my absolute favorite. So the best thing about these lip creams is they dry a little bit matter, but not completely matte. So they're really nice on your lips. They feel really nourishing. They don't dry out completely or crack or anything. So I actually really like these. So the very last thing I have to do is add a little bit of mascara, and I'm gonna use the Spectrum Dark Matter Mascara. This is really good for your under eyes. So there we go, guys, that is my Super Glam Fox Eye makeup tutorial. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed watching this one. I really enjoyed filming this. I really like this makeup. It is very glam, but I am loving it. I will link all the products that I use to create this look below as always, so you can find everything below. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you do create this look, make sure you tag me in all of your selfies, because I do love seeing them. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.